remarkable 8:15 PEST, which means pest, which is what I am. I meant EST, European Eastern Standard Time. This is an absolute devastating beginning to what was never going to be a particularly great episode of Copy Shop Live, EST, Eastern Standard Time. Hey Yanks, good to see you. I'm Dave Thackeray. Welcome to Copy Shop Live from Word and Mouth. That's wordandmouth.com, Dave at wordandmouth.com, at Dave Thackeray on the tweets. And talking about Dave Thackeray on the, spent a not insignificant amount of time on the old Carsey last night because somebody, aka me, thought it'd be a wise idea to use up what was in the fridge. Just so happened that there'd been a fish pie loitering in there for a few days, so went to reheat it and might as well have been able to reheat it again. But anyway, long story short, I'm back. I'm here. I wanted to say hello. I'm very grateful, as I always am, that you join me as I start to unleash and uncover the craziness that is the world of copywriting. It's not just copy, it's all this stuff that's going on around the outside. It's Christmas as well. It's Christmas copywriting, crafting compelling communications, quickening conversions, or just having a little bit of a natter, because that's what the chat's for. So if you'd like to say hello, do feel free to get in, wade into the chat. We'll say hello back. I say we, I mean me, and any of these voices and split personalities that are hazing my mind. What I wanted to say today was, obviously I've bounced back like Alan Partridge, but I've bounced back from a little bit of a setback, a gastric setback, which really speaks to me a lot about grit and determination and courage, really, because, the last thing I actually wanted to do when I came and sat down in the studio here to say hi to you was to come down here and sit in the studio and say hi to you. I mean, don't get me wrong. I dig that you're here, and I deeply appreciate that you come down now and again and join me for a small amount of Christmas music in the background, if you can hear it. If not, my apologies. It sounds good to me. They've got birds cheeping at the moment, or that might just be that cartoon effect of when you sit down too quick and they all sort of flutter around your head, which is weird. So I don't really feel like it, but then I thought, well, do you know what? This time of year, what we need together as a group is more grit to enjoy ourselves to a more meaningful level. And I happened across a Forbes article that was talking all about grit and saying that resilience, which is obviously what grit is, thereabouts, is a combination, a cocktail, a formula of optimism, confidence, and creativity. I want to break that down. Optimism, creativity, and confidence, right? So, I mean, confidence essentially is being able to present yourself in the best way possible and not fearing your foes and not letting other people and the haters, there's plenty of them knocking about because they've got nothing better to do and they're soulless and they're idiots, or just let them get on, because we need a stoic mindset in what we do. Marcus Aurelius did it best, back in the day, these sort of Roman, all that sort of stuff, the empire and everything. But he did a great job with being stoic. And stoic ultimately is you only control three things. It's what you think, what you do, and what you say, right? Anything else is irrelevant. So in many ways, that's the bedrock of resilience and grit as well. Is like, look, get on, single-minded determination, relentless focus, taking you to the goal, taking you over the winning line. That's really what grit and resilience is all about. Is, there's no point having any of these things unless you've got a mission and a motive for them. That's what I think. Anyway, I mean, I'd love to hear what your definition of grit and resilience is. And if you're remotely interested, I'd be more than happy to share the article with you. It's a good old read. It's quite a long, laboured read, but there's some solid points in there. And I mentioned about the cocktails and the formulas. I mean, they're all great as well. So there's that nice bit of stuff, isn't there? I was going to talk a bit about being open, about being conscientious, how being extrovert and agreeable, and to some degree neurotic. I think it's important that you always look in your rearview mirror and stay on top of what you've done before to tease you into doing better stuff is really, really important. And that all speaks to this whole sort of formula, this world of grit. So Forbes.com, I'll drop it in somewhere. If you come back at me, I'll be more than happy to help you out and post that. I'll post it in chat, something like that. wanted to quickly cover, I'm going to do one of those little sessions. So Copy Shop Live fundamentally is about getting the most out of communications and writing better and smarter. So what I'll be doing towards the end of this, which is ironic because that's really the reason why we're here, but you're here now, so you're captive, you can't leave, press exit. I'll just keep coming back at you like Mike Tyson, but I won't be biting your ears today. It's not the way. But I wanted to just very, very quickly cover the race, because the race yesterday, if you're a Formula One fan, you've been watching it all season, been gripped. Unbelievable battle out there, and it's good. It's good in a way that Lewis has been challenged, because he's not been coasting. He's always fighting to be better and better and better. Mercedes themselves as well, always striving for better. But it's good to see. It's good to see that he had a real challenge up to the death and beyond really this season. But I think Formula One this season has really defined grit and resilience, and the themes of bouncing back and being better and never saying no and never stopping and always staying focused. There's that film at the moment with Will Smith, who's like supposed to be the Venus and Serena Williams dads, and that's all about, well, just singular dad, and that's all about that. So I think this is the topic that 2022, I think for most of us who are going to try and do stuff in a different way, I think we're all going to be focused on that resilience. And seeing yesterday and the twists and turns, and quite literally, on the fifth, or was it the sixth turn, where Lewis got into the escape lane and then surged ahead, and there was that sort of contentiousness about had he gained an advantage, so therefore he had to be penalised. The race director decided that it was all right, it was fair game, but the end, karma came to bite him again with that safety car coming out, and that horrendous crash that really decided the whole championship. And obviously the story will be writ large for now the rest of the weeks and months of the year. There aren't many months left of 2021, as we know quite well. But the fact that, he had that 10.5 second lead, which was reduced to nothing by some hazy craziness of one of his fellow drivers, which obviously, he'd had those tyres on for, it's coming up to 40 laps. He didn't stand a chance toe to toe, and it was toe to toe, and obviously that's where we are. So I think fair play to him, though. He fought to the death, and when he knew that all hope was lost, he still fought. And Lewis Hamilton, I've said, I think he's the best athlete and the best sports person of modern times. I don't know how Nero was back in sort of the Grecian days, but he was a god anyway, wasn't he? So I think he's in a very different league, class all his own. Before we dive into the copy side of things, just also finishing off my rambling for today. Angela Multiverse, as she knows herself on Facebook. And you know who you are. You're a thoroughly good, deserving individual. 2022 is going to be the making of you again. Shared on the old LinkedIn today about a woman, an artist woman, who was on Instagram. I'd been on there for like half a decade or something, playing her wares and stuff, maybe longer than that, I don't know. But anyway, she'd used the handle of Multiverse. Sort of topical, and it all comes around. Anyway, Meta comes out earlier this year. Mark and his pals call the shots, and instantly Snap at Metaverse on Instagram off this artist. Comes in one day, logs in to tell the world about her world, and she can't, and it says somebody might be purporting to be you, get in touch, blah 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 blah. Anyway, long and short of it is, she's not Metaverse no more. Meta belongs, we all talk about how Web3 and the future and whatever the Metaverse is, we talk about it belonging to us, the people. There's a lot of an uprising in the community, the web community, about we need to all get our bums in gear now and start building out the open source, the real world metaverse, before some of the big companies go and do it for us and they end up owning it, which really rallies against the very nature of metaverse. But It's clear right now that in terms of the power struggle for the metaverse, all the cards are currently being held in the hands of those with the most to win and the most to invest, and that really at the moment is Facebook. So the moral of the story here, I've always said this, sure, knock yourself out on social media. It's a great place to hang out. It's a great place to be. You meet some amazing people, do some amazing deals, forge some amazing futures. But ultimately, it's like a house of cards. It can all come crashing down any minute. You don't know when that is. It can all get taken away from you. You've got no recourse. You're the product, not the customer. So, I think that's quite useful. I know you'll agree because you're here, aren't you? You're obsessed with me, as you should be. Right, so I'm going to share my screen. It's lovely here. I'm going to go on to here. We're not going to design a disco ball that's really confusing. We're going to finish off now by taking you into the afternoon. I hope you're having a great day so far. By the way, it's Monday, but somebody's got to. And now we're here to design a school lunch that's uncomfortable. Let me copy and paste that into Notepad. Right, so school lunch to me that's uncomfortable is something that challenges, right? I've been writing about that today. Get out of your comfort zone. Apparently, there is a theory called comfort crisis. Nobody needs that in their lives, and that's where we coast. We get into a rut, and how do you get out of a rut? Well, you challenge yourself. You do something unsavory, unsafe, or just downright challenging every day, and eventually, your comfort zone is in being uncomfortable. Kids these days, as far as being comfortable, it could be healthy eating. You could be like Ryanair are obviously inevitably going to do charges for seats on planes. So you could be eating your lunch standing up. Although, ironically, that's actually supposed to be better for your digestive system. And if ever I could do with something right now to prop my digestive system up, it's right now. Cheers, by the way. It's Copy Shop Live. Splash my eye, why not? Everything else, part of my body's been attacked today by something wet. So how they stood up, it could be like a I'm a celebrity lunch. What we're having today, kangaroo bum. It could just be. Let's think about it. What does uncomfortable mean? Uncomfortable means what's the opposite of comfortable? Well, it's things that just are challenging you, upsetting the apple cart, or sending you off in a different direction. It could be that there could be some sort of a currency that is booked. So it could be like, right, the only way that you're good at, or pay for lunch, $5.75, or if you read for half an hour using some sort of sophisticated eye tracking software built into a screen, so like an e-reader, if you read and can answer 5 questions about the passage that you just read and get at least 75% correct, then you get a free lunch, right? Social science here in action. I'm reading a book by Katie Milkman, all about behaviour change, and maybe she's inadvertently influenced me. But so I think that might be it. Actually, study smart and eat smarter. I'm not. It's rubbish, but edible, digestion, digest, education. Digest books, share a digest of what you read for the chance to digest for free. It's not nice, but you can see where I'm going. So this is sort of the meat and potatoes of it. I think when you're writing copy and you're being proposed with some sort of sketchy information, first thing you need to do is to dig into every single word. So design a school lunch that is uncomfortable. So you've got the words here, uncomfortable school lunch. What is uncomfortable to a student might be different to what's uncomfortable to a senior citizen. So think straight away about the personas, your target audience. Students, typically, they are ultimately, because we all are, but it's brought into sharp relief at school, they're ultimately lazy. It's all about shortcuts. So it could be that lunch is 5 minutes. So say, for example, if you're going to track attention in the classroom, your lunch is shorter for every minute that you don't pay attention in class. So if you don't pay attention for 45 minutes, well, that's your lunch snuffed out, isn't it? behavior change. Um, and then eventually, you just come up with a stack of ideas and bounce them around your colleagues and your clients and your stakeholders and say, look, what do we think? Experiment, right? What's going to work? What's legal? What's viable? Because a lot of these ideas, there's going to be a lot of rules, aren't there? There's a lot of schools that are more free with their ideas and their concepts than others, and there might be human rights to take into account. So lots of stuff to go on there. I'm going to unshare my screen now. You've been a wonderful crowd. Thanks again for popping in. I do appreciate you being here. I've had 71 people today popping in across all 4 social platforms. So you know what? If out of you 71 fine people, 2 people found this a bit of an energy boost for the rest of Monday, then I've done my job. If you need anything from a copy point of view, drop me a line, dave@wordandmouth.com. If you want to get in touch on the tweets, @DaveThackeray. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn. I'm here for you guys. Have yourself a great day. And yeah, thanks again. I'll be seeing you tomorrow about 1 o'clock, same time.